Hi, I'm Robert Estrin at livingpianos.com. The subject today is how do you correct mistakes on the piano? Boy, that's a big subject. You might wonder, how am I possibly going to cover that in just a short video? Well, the truth is, if you're looking for an answer to how to correct all your mistakes, this video is not that. What it really is about is how do you cement those corrections? Here's the way it usually works. You have a problem, and there's many different solutions depending upon the technical challenges of how to solve the problems. Of course, going slower, hands separately, stopping at certain places, getting over groups of notes. There's countless ways, the mechanics of how to solve each individual problem. But the challenge is, after you make the correction, how do you make sure that the correction is going to stick, that you're actually going to be able to make it correct, that you actually correct the mistake? Here is the secret. You make the correction and you go through it many times in a row perfectly until you can play it through not only perfectly, but comfortably. You might get it 3 times in a row perfect, but you're just kind of the edge of your seat, just trying to barely get it out. No, you want to be able to get it where it's fluid, where you can do it with very little effort and as little tension as possible in a relaxed manner, being able to do it and repeat it. Then, of course, the next thing is to go back to the beginning of the section and be able to do that. Then you think, now you've got it. Well, this is where the next step that's so vital comes in, which is what I'm sharing with you on this video today. I'm going to first tell you a story, and then I'm going to tell you how it applies to what I'm about to tell you. If you have a certain routine, maybe you go to school or work every day, and you have a certain routine, and maybe a certain day you have to pick up the dry cleaning, or you have the dry cleaning to drop off, or maybe you have a library book at school. Let's say you have a library book that you need to return. So you go to school and you have all your books, and along that you're carrying this big heavy library book all day long, knowing full well that you're going to drop it off on the way home because it's just, a few blocks out of the way. So all day long you're holding that book, and every time you're going from class to class, you're going, because it's heavier, right? Then finally the end of the day comes and the class is over and you dart out and boom, you get in your car or your walk or whatever it is. And then before you know it, boom, you're home and walk in the door and, did you remember to return the library book? And it's like, there you are at home and you forgot completely, even though all day long you were thinking about it. How is this possible? Well, the fact is, we are all prisoners of our routines. Whatever you're used to doing, you're going to do again, unless there is a very concerted effort. You have to be present at the right moment, which brings us back to how do you make corrections in your piano music? Well, you can make the correction, but until you actually go back to the beginning of the movement or the beginning of the piece, that correction will not be solidified. You may have done it 10 times in a row perfectly for the beginning of that section, yet to your amazing surprise, when you perform that piece and you get to that section, that old mistake will pop up and you will not even believe it because you know you've made the correction. How many of you have had that experience? Here's the way to solve that problem. You start from the beginning, and before you start, you think, I've got to remember when I get to the correction to play the correction and play along. Do not daydream. You have to be right there at that moment, remembering, I'm at the beginning of that section, the correction is coming, and be ready for it and get that correction. Do that 2 or 3 times, and then the correction is solidified. All right, I'm Robert Estrin. I hope these videos are helpful for you. I really appreciate the comments. Bring the questions coming back to me here at livingpianos.com. See you next time.